Okay, just testing to see that we're going. Just got a bit of a delay here. Okay, so sorry that the vision's a little bit out. I'll just try and fix that. Okay, just get a timing idea. Sorry that a bit of mucking around here. Just do it. Okay. So basic purpose of this, going to make sure that it's short and sharp, between 5 to 10 minutes. Just going to do some revision on federalism. A few people missed the class the other day, so yeah, if you're watching, you've got any questions, feel free to ask as we go, and I'll try and answer them as well. Basically, there's two types of government. There's countries where there's only one government, and that's called a unitary system. And then there's countries that have got both a central government and regional governments. In Australia, we've got this system. This is called a federal system. We have a central government that's based in Canberra, so that's this one. And then we've got regional governments, which are the states. The other thing that's key about a federal system is that power is divided between these two different governments. So that's called the division of power. So pre-1900, in Australia, we're basically separated into colonies. And the colonies had their own governments, their own constitutions, but were basically separated under British rule. Then what they decided to do, in 1900, they decided to form together to form the Commonwealth and give up some of their powers. Some of the reasons they did this were because of defence, so they wanted to have a shared army, wanted to have the same coins, tariffs, immigration, etc. So it was in the interests of those colonies to come together to have that central government. What they did is they created an Act of Parliament, and that was in the British Parliament, and it was called the Commonwealth So it's called the Commonwealth of Australia Constitution Act, or for short, just the Constitution. Now when they gave up their power, the colonies, they gave it up to a central body, and they didn't want to give up much of their power. So if we think of this as pre-1901, we think of this as 1901, but how it looks today is a lot different. Today, the power's gone, just rub this off. The power has grown more and more in the Commonwealth. So the central government's got a lot more power. Now the key thing about how power is divided is that it's actually written in the Constitution. And it's specifically written in section 51. So in section 51 of the Constitution, it's got what areas of power the Commonwealth or the central government can make laws on. So these are called specific powers. Now the specific powers, sometimes called the enumerated powers or the 39 heads of government, are a list of areas that the Commonwealth or the central government can make powers on, and they can either be exclusive or concurrent. Now what these words mean is exclusive is only the central government can make laws on that area, whereas concurrent means it's shared. When something's not mentioned in the Constitution, it basically means that the states have control over that, or sovereign power, and that's called residual power. So, we'll go over that again. Exclusive is only the Commonwealth. Concurrent is shared. And residual is the states. Now there becomes a bit of an issue, and the issue is because there's shared powers, you can actually have inconsistencies. Now, just rub the board. So because of these shared powers, where the Commonwealth can make powers on a certain area, so they might make it a law on marriage, and the states may make a law on marriage, which one do you follow? So the Constitution set out one of these sections, which was section 109, which dealt with inconsistencies. Now it's good for you to know this off by hand, and it basically says if a law of a state is inconsistent with a law of the Commonwealth, the latter, which is the Commonwealth, shall prevail, and the former shall, to the extent of the inconsistency, be invalid. In plain English, what that means is the Commonwealth overrules the states when there's inconsistent laws. And to just clarify that, and to go back to that drawing we had before, when you've got the colonies that are separate, they didn't give up any of their power. Then in 1901 they gave up a little bit of their power, but in 2017 nearly all of the power has gone to the Commonwealth. It's because of this section 109. And in particular, it's been the High Court of Australia in what's known as High Court interpretation deciding that the Commonwealth has more and more power. So, look at this if you need a bit of revision on this topic. Obviously, if you want to get A ratings, you want to add examples to it, talk about this change over time, so from pre-1901, 1901, 2017, you talk about the change, and you add those examples, and of course you use specific legal terminology. Thanks for tuning in, but yeah, keep it as a revision video for later on. Cheers.